Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. It's general notice. I usually use it to kick off the week. We're going to be doing this one on a Tuesday. Let's have a bit of a talk about the world of motorsport quick and some things going on with this channel. Firstly, with this channel, the next general notice should be next Monday. In the coming few days, you can expect a review for the NASCAR Clash on Thursday, and ideally on Friday, a preview for the Daytona 500. And then over the course of the weekend, I'm thinking of doing previews for WRC Rally Sweden and F1 testing, the second bout of it in Bahrain. Then yeah, next general notice next Monday. I don't necessarily know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, but we'll see. I had a few ideas, some things that I've got on the back burner that I might, if I get a chance to, sit down and write and we can cover. But overall, I've just been focusing on the news in the world of motorsport, so let's speedrun some of these. Firstly, the FIA said more than 10 tuners are interested in WRC 2027. Dirtfish's article says that there are going to be, up to 10 people who are potentials. Now, potential is the key one there. We've got one that's confirmed. That's Project Rally 1. That's the one that's formerly Yves Maton. Malcolm Wilson, who has had a similar kind of arrangement over the years with M Sport for Ford, has said it's a significant step. And, yeah. If it comes through, it would be. I don't know if it'll come through. What would be ideal is if this is kind of like the World RX model, right? World RX at its height, which I would say is the first few seasons, so up to, I don't know, 2019? Can we say that that crash at Killarney, the season finale one with Backerud and the Hansons, we say that was where things started to go south? I don't know. But we had VWs, we had multiple VWs, we had multiple Fiestas from different tuners. We had the Kia Rio that Gigi Gali drove. We had the DS3 for Petter Solberg. We had ex-World Rally cars being converted across to the World RX formula. And that's how the VW ended up winning, wasn't it? We had Hyundai World Rally cars coming across. That's what the GRX machines were. Yeah. If that's the kind of thing we're talking about, cool. If we can have that and manufacturer partnerships, fantastic. But one thing that we do know is that there is one manufacturer that isn't going to be making the jump. Skoda have ruled out building a WRC 27 Rally 1 car because they said we don't even know what it's going to look like in terms of the order. They've also, Mikhail Branek has talked to Dirtfish and said, we don't know what the running order is going to be like. We could be competing for wins, but we don't know what the Rally 1 cars, WRC 27 cars, are going to look like in terms of competitive action. We could fight for wins, but is that going to be because we have more experience, a more reliable car, and these are going to be new rule books and stuff like that? We don't know. Yeah, it's going to be tricky to see. I do want to be hopeful for the future of the WRC, but we don't know what's going on in terms of the promoter. What we do know is that Rally Finland has reworked its route with a massive amount of changes. I think they said 2/3 of the stages have changed in some way, shape, or form. Quite noticeably missing. Ouninpohja, obviously, which was on the rally the last 2 years. Lihinpa and Ruhimaki. They're all going to be gone from the actual testing stuff. Ruhimaki will still be the shakedown, but for the Sunday test, instead of Ouninpohja, we got the Himos Hamza test, which is 30 kilometers long. Now, it did appear under that name in 2023. It was a 9-kilometer test back then, and it was the final 7 kilometers of this stage. Now, bits of this stage have popped up as the Himos test in previous years. So I'm looking at 2015, 2013, 2010. We had most of this stage appear in that guise. And then Vaheri has been a similar one that's been used before. So all of these roads have appeared in Rally Finland. The longest variant of this stage, from what I can see, was 35 kilometers in 2002. They used most of the roads to come up in this edition. But it's a rally that goes back to the 1,000 Lakes in 1965. Anyways, off of point to point and to the circuits. Jack Doohan is with Haas. He was looking at a Super Formula bid, but it didn't happen in the end. The race got some coverage on that. Supposedly, he's going to be on the reserve roster alongside Rio Hikara because that's going to be the best way of potentially getting a future F1 seat. And given the rumours that Behrman might jump ship up to Ferrari if Hamilton's done at the end of this year, it's a good place to sniff around. I honestly doubt that Doohan has actually got the sort of performance ceiling that we saw when he was with Alpine. I think he's better than that. But hopefully he finds an environment where he can flourish. I know F2 is a bit of a lottery. I know the junior single season ladder to F1 is a bit of a lottery. But when you've got some good performances behind you, it can't just be luck. But speaking of his former employer Alpine, they seem to have run out of luck. Apparently, the hypercar program could get shut down as soon as this year. Even though the A44 won in Fuji last year in WEC, it's just a money thing. And this is the problem with something like the hypercar stuff, is even when you're trying to cost control it, costs are going to keep piling up and up and up. So it's okay to be sustainable, but you have to have something long term. You have to have sponsors that are going to be backing your program. You have to have drivers coming in that are going to be backing your program. Or you have to just keep winning. Or have a company that's happy to offset it against their marketing budget, which Renault Group is not necessarily going to do. You think about what Renault Group and the weird amalgamation kind of a WRC structure that Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi, all of them have. We don't see Mitsubishi that much in competition for motorsports these days. Renault have mostly moved their stuff over to Alpine, apart from the customer Clio race cars that are touring cars and rallycross cars as well. Nissan, you got Formula E. That's pretty much it, apart from some domestic stuff for, say, Super GT. Alpine is the premier brand. And rumours are that there's a new consortium involving former Red Bull principal Christian Horner sniffing around Henstone. And yeah, rumours are that something could happen to see the end of this hypercar program. Now, the chassis that it's based on is the same one that the Acura in IMSA is, so it'd be nice if we could see that chassis popping up, or that kind of base popping up with maybe a Honda program in the future. There are manufacturers differing around. We know of the ambitions of McLaren and Ford, for example. So it won't be like there'll be a massive gulf. And manufacturers have come and gone. Porsche from WEC this year. In the past, it's been the smaller ones, Glickenhaus, sort of Fraschini. But perhaps the biggest one outside of Porsche was Lamborghini. That's excluding the Audi one that never was a thing. But yeah, it'll be a shame. Be nice to see it rock up somewhere. Hey, maybe the Asia Le Mans series. We know that that's going to start having hypercars this year. But yeah, just some food for thought. Thanks for watching and joining, folks. Thanks for your support as always on this channel. And yeah, hope to see you around soon for more. But till then, from me, bye for now.